Good morning, everyone. I have absolutely no idea if this is working because this is my very first Facebook Live. So bear with me. And apologies for starting that little bit later than we'd hoped. I think they say something like never work with animals or children, and I'm going to add, or computers. So, hi Tracy, good morning. So thank you for tuning in. This is the first of, I hope, a few Facebook Lives. We're really keen to find a way where we can continue to have a means of communicating with you all. And that just doesn't mean give, get, go people. We're hoping to open this out to the wider community. So a little bit about how things are at the moment. Obviously, it would be absolutely inappropriate to just not say, I hope everybody's all right. So we've gone on lockdown now, it's official. And that means that for the foreseeable future, we're all at home, or at least those of us whose jobs haven't been designated as key workers, and those people have to go into work. So as our organisation works out how to carry on doing what we do, we are going to just carry on as much as we possibly can, supporting you all and offering you a way of still doing some personal development while we're all stuck inside. So hopefully the next one will have more viewers, and obviously we'll know a bit more what we're doing by then. So today's Facebook Live is all about how to manage your digital life. So this was particularly a problem anyway, or a challenge for people, as we've all become so much more dependent on our devices. And then, of course, the coronavirus decided to make an appearance, completely unannounced and uninvited. And we're having to use our devices more because that's how we're all going to stay connected. So it's a little bit of a paradox at the moment, because on the one hand, I'm hoping to give you some tips about using it less, using it in a more healthy way, whilst being very mindful that for all of us, the internet is going to be a lifeline for us over the coming weeks and potentially months. So, with that in mind, let's see how we go. I can remember getting the internet at home in the year 1999. And it was the old dial-up system with the crazy noises, and you had to wait ages to get online, and if the landline rang, you were booted out of the internet. I had a mobile phone, it was a brick. We definitely didn't have any social media or anything like that. Hi Carolina, nice to see you. Hi Lee. So how drastic that change has been. So here we are in the year 2020, and it's everywhere. The computer is in your handbag, and the whole digital world is at your fingertips. And that's wonderful, but it comes with caution. And what I would really enjoy for myself and for my family would be a better sense of balance. And I've been trying to do that for myself for a while. So let's just talk about what digital detox means. So a normal detox might be a dietary detox. So, you know, you might take some healthy juices, you might cut certain foodstuffs out of your life, and you would hope that by doing those things, you give your body a bit of a cleanse, and you would hope to start to feel some sort of physical benefit from that. A digital detox works on the same principle. So no one's saying you have to completely stop, especially at the moment. We need these channels of communication. But there are definitely ways of managing your digital life so that you are able to maintain your well-being. So that's what digital detox is about. It's not about stopping it completely, although you can do that. You know, people do have full breaks from social media. I know people who'll go on holiday and will perhaps only take a little, normal mobile phone, not a smartphone, so people can text or whatever, keep in touch. So that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about moderating your online activity in a way that's going to benefit your well-being. Okay, so we live in an always on culture. So let's just let that sink in for a minute. What does that mean, always on? Well, it means that psychologically, you're never going to get a break unless you're asleep. So a digital life really needs to have a schedule whereby you get some downtime, because these devices are constantly bombarding your brain with messages. And some of those messages are gorgeous, they're lovely, they're funny. You know, your cats, your memes about cats, and I don't know, watching programs that you like, or watching videos on YouTube about how to do great things. My husband learned how to cook a roast dinner from a tutorial on YouTube. I should add, he did it once and is in no hurry to do it again. But the internet is full of great stuff. However, you need to learn to manage that activity. So would you believe me if I was to say that 2/3 of adults now say that they consider the internet to be an absolutely essential service for their life? 5 years ago, even, the internet for lots of people was a luxury. And now we're saying, or a lot of us are saying, we can't live without it. So let's have a little think about what happens in 1 minute online. Now I'm going to just refer to a presentation that's just out of sight of the camera here, but I wanted to get it right. So let me just give you a couple of these snapshots about what the world is doing in any given moment online. And bearing in mind that this is from 2018, so you can imagine that now, as we're nearly all at home, how much more these numbers are going to go up. So, in a minute online, 18 million text messages. That's a lot of messages. 2,665,000 people click on to Netflix. 2.4 million snaps are created. I'm still not on board with the whole Snapchat thing. I think I might be too old, but that's what the kids are down with. 35,000 gifts are sent. And 197 million emails. So they're crazy numbers, aren't they? So the always on culture. If you think about when perhaps you were at school, you would be around your friends, you'd have your lessons, and then you'd go home. And unless someone called you on the landline, your interactions with those people stopped. Now, those interactions, whether it's with your workmates or with your family, are in the palm of your hand, on your phone, or on, a laptop or an iPad or whatever. So whilst that's really quite lovely in the sense of being connected to people, it also means that you're never unavailable. And that's not great for your well-being. We all need a break. How do you feel when your internet goes down? I feel a sense of panic because that generally means that I can't do most of the things that I need to be able to do. 10% of people find it liberating. 10% of people say that they could be more productive. 29% of people say that they would be completely lost. And 35% of people said that they would be distressed. So that just shows you how reliant we've become on being online and being on the internet. So I'm going to talk about some ways in which you can help yourself to develop more helpful and healthy digital habits. First one, talk more, text less. Now, I've really noticed this with young people because I've got 2 teenagers and they barely talk to one another. It's just like Oliver, my son, can text without looking at the keyboard, just blah, 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 blah. So one of the things that you could do, which is super simple, is next time you go to send a text message, ask yourself, could I tell this person this information? And would it be nice to actually have a quick chat? It doesn't have to be for ages. But yeah, think about just simple things like if you're going to send a WhatsApp message, if you're going to send a text message, if you're going to send something on Messenger or whatever channel you're using, how about actually speaking to another human? Wild, I know. The next one is ditch the digital junk. So maybe think about the next time you pass on a meme or pass on a video that you've seen online, just think twice about, do I really need to send this? Am I potentially just giving someone else digital clutter? Because I know that I'm in loads of different WhatsApp groups, and present company accepted, of course, Fishwicks and Bailey Rhodes and co. I do get sent a lot of nonsense, and I kind of go, oh, yeah, it's funny that, and then I'm like, more all the time. So a good way of kind of stopping that or cutting it down a little bit is to stop sending it out yourself, because that in turn will eventually send a message to people that isn't your jam, and that you're not down with the funny cats, funny memes all the live long day. So you could try that. Ditch the digital junk. The next tip, now I am very much guilty of this one, so it is a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black here, but we're all learning together, me included. So my phone is my camera, my journal, have I said calendar? Possibly. It's my alarm clock. It's how I read some books. So my phone at night time is by the side of my bed. So, how about charging your phone in another room and getting an actual alarm clock? That's a really great tip. It's one that I would like to think, no, I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to try it. How about that? I am going to get an alarm clock and I'm going to start charging my phone downstairs. I think from a safety point of view, safety first, maybe don't charge your devices overnight if they're not going to be in the same room as you. So charge your device during the day, just because of the whole fire hazard thing. So yeah, charge your phone in a room that's not your bedroom, because that's going to stop you doing the scrolling through Facebook, Insta, blah, 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 when you're in bed. And really, you should be going to bed for a rest, and not having that constant flow of blue light, which is so bad for us and is not great for our sleep. Next one, spring clean your devices. So that means getting your phone, looking at all of your apps and asking yourself, do I really need this? Is this really getting used all the time? Is this an integral part of my life? Or is this just another junk app that is not giving me any joy? So you could try that. I would highly recommend doing that on a regular basis, because my phone, as far as junk was concerned, was the digital equivalent of having a KFC. Every other app was just nonsense, Candy Crush and all sorts, just nonsense. So get them off if you're not using them, or if you use them and you find yourself going down that rabbit hole of, oh my goodness, I've been in here for an hour. Just get shut of them. You don't need them. No screens when one-to-one. How annoying is it when you're in a restaurant or a cafe? I know we don't really have to think about that right now, but now is the time to be developing some good habits. How annoying is it when you're having a conversation with someone and they pick up their phone because their text message has come through or something? So again, lead by example and be the change that you want to see. Try that. No phones when you're having one-to-one interactions with somebody else. Screen-free dinners. So in our house, we have a rule that when we sit down to the table to have a meal, we don't have our phones on the table. And that's particularly important, I think, family meals or whoever you eat with. Sometimes it's the only part in a day that you get to sit and kind of touch base with one another and be around one another. So having a phone on the table is like not great. So I would consider maybe having that little rule that when we're having our dinner or our lunch or whatever it is, the phones are not allowed in the room at the same time. And a big one is monitor your usage. So I got a notification on my phone, I think it was yesterday, it might have been Sunday night actually, telling me what my screen time was for last week for one day. This is the average over the week. 7 hours and about 14 minutes. Yikes. And that was, I think, up by something like 2/3 from the week before. Now, granted, these are highly unprecedented circumstances, aren't they? So none of us would have imagined 2 weeks ago that we would be doing what we're doing now. So your screen time, you can look, I use iPhone, so I can't comment on Android or on any of the other mobile phones. But most that I know of, most smartphones have a way of showing you what your online activity has been. And it can be quite specific, you know, it'll tell you how many videos you've watched, how much time on email. It can be very detailed. So I'm not saying become completely paranoid about it or neurotic, but if you can be a bit more self-aware, that gave me a jolt on Sunday. I thought, ooh, that needs to be held in check. 8 hours a day on my phone, that's crazy amount of time. So this week I'm being more conscious of that, and hopefully I'll be able to, next time I just habitually pick my phone up and go to scroll through Facebook or whichever other app, I'm going to try and maybe start to set some actual times in the day when I'm going to do that. Okay. The last thing that I want to talk about as far as digital detox is concerned is how it makes us feel. Facebook and Instagram particularly, they're the main ones that I use. I'm not on Twitter so much, but certainly Facebook and Instagram. Much of the content that I look at causes me feelings that I don't like. That can be envy, it can be resentment, it can be boredom. I can find myself being annoyed at people who post stuff that I don't agree with or I think is trivial or different to stuff that I believe in. Or the compare and contrast is probably the one to be most mindful of. So, you know, there's always someone on Facebook who's on holiday every other week. And, you know, Debbie who goes on a cruise every other month. If you find yourself with that level of irritation or a level of envy, they're not healthy emotions really to be carrying a lot of around with you. So consider, if there are people in your Facebook friends or people that you follow on Instagram, ask yourself, what does being connected to this person online bring to my real life? And if what they bring you is resentment, anger, jealousy, envy, annoyance, get shut or hide them. You know, you have that option to not just cut them off completely, but you stop seeing their posts. That can be a very, very effective way of changing your online experience, because then the things that you do see, the people that you do follow, are people that bring you joy or people that bring you something of value. So consider having a little bit of a spring clean of your contacts. I've done that. I've got loads of people who I didn't want to be so harsh as to get shut of them completely, because that could be super awkward, especially if you still see them in real life and they'd be like, she's unfriended me. But hide them, just hide their posts. You don't need to be seeing that all the time. And the last thing, the very last thing before I go, is about notifications. I read a very interesting article about how we've started neurologically to develop. Sorry, I've got a strand of hair that's doing my head in. Hey, gone. A very interesting piece of research about how we're evolving as a species now that we have internet on tap all day long, and the fact that we are constantly flicking between different apps. We are losing the ability as a species to concentrate on one task at a time. That's quite frightening, I think, and it's because we are constantly seeking the stimulation of the experience of opening an app. What have I seen? What do I like? What have people liked of mine? And it's that constant feedback. So notifications, you can turn them off. So the only ones that I now get notifications for are text messages, because they tend to be from family. I've turned my WhatsApp notifications off. I've turned my Facebook notifications off. everything, even email. I go in regularly to those things and check them when I want to, not when my phone tells me to. And I've been doing that since last May, when I first delivered this digital detox stuff to the University of Liverpool. And it has been super effective. I'm no longer constantly halfway through a conversation and then go, oh, my phone. People can still ring me, but I'm not getting ping, ping, such and such liked your cat on Facebook. Ping. Debbie sent you a picture of donkeys on WhatsApp and they're all drinking beer. You don't need that in the middle of your normal day. So that's it. To summarise, we are going to be on lockdown at least for 3 weeks, and that inevitably means that we're going to be on our devices more. If you want to come out the other side of this, like me, not just healthy and without having COVID-19, but with your well-being intact, then have a little look at your online life and your online activity and ask yourself, is this doing me any good? Is this bringing joy into my life? Or is this something that I need to do something about? And I imagine if you're a human, and you all are, that there are definitely things that you can do to make things feel more healthy, more manageable, and with you very firmly in the driving seat. Don't be bullied by your phone. Thank you everyone for bearing with me. I'm sorry that the Facebook Live started later than I'd hoped. Next time it will be much more plain sailing now that I know what I'm doing. So we're going to do another one of these on Friday, and we're going to be putting loads more content on the Give Get Go page. But keep checking in. Tell your friends. We are open for business and we are very much still here, even though we're here in a different way to how we would normally be. Lee is doing Take 10 at 10, which for those of you who have done Give Get Go, you'll know just how chilled our King of Zen is. So check in with him, because I did it yesterday, a lovely gentle meditation just for 10 minutes, and it really helped me to start the day off in a lovely calming way. Lauren is doing gentle yoga practice on a Friday, again as a Facebook line. You don't need any fancy pants equipment, just leggings and a t-shirt and a bit of carpet, or you can just do it on the floor, it's fine. But please don't think for a second that we've gone anywhere. We are all still here, and we're very much looking forward to speaking to you soon. You take care, have a great day, and we'll see you soon.